Last Christmas, I released a video in which I beat the entirety of Pokemon Emerald with just a single Spheal. I chose it as Hoenn is its native region. Only to find out you need a visa for a Spheal to be let into the Elite Four. So to avoid a quick lawsuit, I humbly took the little ball of joy into the region where it all began, and let this 100% certified electrode roll through the entirety of Kanto. This is the journey. We once again named the rival Orca, for obvious reasons, and looked through the themed starters. I actually had a pretty hard time defeating the shroomish Orca picked, but there's no way it will become a problem in the future, so don't worry about it. I went straight to Brock, who seemed dumbfounded by the shocking disguise of my Splashel friend, as both of his rock-hard Pokemon dissolved, before we went through a cave and met Orca once again. His Pidgeotto doesn't really do much, but the fungi is starting to become a powerhouse, even without evolving. Luckily this time, a Body Slam crit lets us through. And since he sent out Abra next, I was in for a free heal. Rattata got slammed, and Orca fled the scene. Spheal committed some casual mass murder before freeing the Pokefurry. Misty's Staryu got locked into Harden with Encore, so I could slam through her. The Spheal could slam through the Staryu. Don't make it weird. Starmie eventually suffered the same fate, and we could board the ship. Orca started speaking French before trying to bash my head in, which this water-type electrode couldn't allow. The rare Shroomish freebie allowed me to sweep through Raticate as well. Kadabra missed a useless disable, and the captain allowed me to toss Orca overboard, just so I could enter the Gym of Nightmares. Not only is it the most problematic matchup against Spheal in general, it also had a pretty tough XP curve to follow with my rules, 3 trainers, and the most dogshit gym puzzle ever created. Surge eventually lets me through, and the real battle can begin. Voltorb actually helps me with Screech, as none of the remaining Pokemon rely on physical attacks. The turn after, Voltorb miraculously misses, giving us free passage, without risking getting static. Pikachu tries to use those dirty tactics, forgetting he doesn't get the anime plot armor here, and Raichu actually starts the same way, which is the only reason I'm even able to get past this fight, as Shockwave was a guaranteed 2-hit kill, even if I used an Oranberry. Body Slam slams this Thunderstone abuser to pieces, and we move on straight to Erika. Her grass types should scare the water side of Spheal, but he didn't waver, and with Aura Beam, easily missed the range on the first KO. But after Erika wasted a potion, he got his head in the game, and cleaned up. While his hatred for grass types was still fresh, I took him to see my rival's Breloom, which went exactly the way I thought. Oh, you expected to be done with Orca? Hell no! Right into the next rival fight. I needed to chip the Pidgeot, so I went with Water Pulse. And as I clicked Aura Beam, Orca choked to the highest extent, by bringing in the one Pokemon that could realistically threaten me on the one move that could kill it. Pidgeot came back in only to get shot down from the sky, and Gyarados Gamer Raged before getting beamed on as well. Let's act like I didn't murder this puppy in cold blood, and move on to Alakazam, who was absolutely terrifying, as he calm-minded and lived a hit. I was sure the road ends here, so I clicked Encore hoping for a second Calm Mind. Yeah, we had another free— oh, what? It lived? Well, no time like the present. Geo was the next target, and even though his Nidorino opened with an ambitious critical hit, one hit from Spheal knocked the wind out of him. The second one finished him off, and it was a sweep from there. Rhyhorn, Nidoqueen, and the Kangaskhan fell to Water Pulse, and Giovanni raised his white flag. Koga had the priority over Sabrina, as he is way easier to go toe-to-toe with. With the Surf we acquired from the Safari Zone, the similarly round Coughings stood no chance. Muck tried to be Britney Spears, which one Pecha Berry quickly dealt with, Weezing took a hit before also toxicking me, and as Koga went for a hyper potion, I got the free encore off, which thanks to the obnoxious healing still almost cost me my Spheal, but he pulled through, taking down the easier of the two upcoming gym leaders. Sabrina is always scary, but with Spheal's underwhelming special defense, I was worried about her being a roadblock. But Kadabra used Calm Mind before going down to return. Mr. Mime starts with Barrier, so I encore it into it and proceed to splash it with Surf. Just before the mime dies, I set up with X attack to up my chances against the Alakazam even more. I don't like using the limited X items before the league, so you know this was a big deal. The mime just baton passes the buffs to Venomoth, which went down to a Surf as well, before Spheal could claim the elusive entertainer. The Zam was last, so I click return and pray, as it uses Calm Mind. Luckily, the X boost was enough and we claimed another badge. To be fair, this was like the last difficult one before the league, so let's speed through this. We surf to Cinnabar Island, where one surf washes every attempt at salvation Blaine throws at us. Speaking of throwing, Giovanni decided to bench the only good Pokemon capable of taking hits from my Spheal and replace it with a Dactrio. Not to mention, his ace is a small, unevolved Rhyhorn. Have you learned nothing, Mr. Evil Man? The next actually challenging fight was the penultimate rival fight, where we once again had to rely on X items to do the trick. I allowed the Pidgeot to get some chippage in, so Spheal gets 3rd gear, letting me outspeed and one-shot the Bird, Rhyhorn, and the threatening Shroom Brawler. Gyarados then throws by giving me the Rain and allowing me to encore him. No, avert your gaze. What's with the Alakazams and Coal Mines in this? Anyway, we made it through, which means it's time for the lead. The one thing, or I guess technically 5, standing between me and the official Spheal permit. Let's do this. Lorelei actually thought she could out-seal me with a Dugong, which really didn't work in her favor. Cloyster then made the mistake of going for Hail against my Encore, so I could freely heal before Lorelei sloppily switched into her Ace, which was actually pretty beefy and took an arsenal of returns to defeat. Slowbro sadly wasn't Shell Armor, and Jinx's Lovely Kiss didn't really work against Spheal that well, as he woke up turn after and delivered the final blow. Bruno's Hitmons drained some of my healing items, but their reign ended there. And not even Machamp was capable of a crit, so Bruno went down relatively stress-free, with Onyx being the final punching bag. Agatha depends on RNG with her double teams, which is a strategy my flippered friend couldn't respect. Well, besides the part where he got confused into 3 straight self-hits. But let's not talk about that. Lance was a completely different page though. His team is forged with the most powerful dragons of this region. And hell, even the leading Gyarados caused me to bleed another full restore, before falling to Aurora Beam. Then, it was time to clench our cheeks, as Aerodactyl went for Ancient Power. Without the boost, the prehistoric Drake fell down, and it was all on this Dragonite to save Lance's reputation. Which he didn't, clearing the path for the very last fight for my sole companion. Oh, I also had the Ice Beam TM from the casino this whole time. How fun. Let's walk into our last battle with Orca. For now. He still leads with Pidgeot, which was Pidgey not a good idea. I went for the important X-Defend as Rhydon missed Scary Face, which meant Encore was in order. With all the important X items now in place, we killed the Mew to force the toughest member of this team out. And watch this. Dynamic Punch? Seriously? What was your plan, dude? Now I kinda feel bad as the setup wasn't all that useful, but Alakazam failed to return, Gyarados forced me into my last full restore before falling to Ice Beam, Arcanine's Flamethrower did slightly more damage than I thought before Surf dealt with it, forcing Orca to give up the permit and crown me and my round friend the new champions of Kanto. Some of you might take this as the victory we desired, but the way I and my Spheal see it, it's 2 for 9.